Hello everybody, my name is Uli and today I'd like to talk about why I'm using JetBrains IDEs. By the way, this is not a sponsored video. I just like to use apps that makes my life easier. So why JetBrains IDEs? It's simple. It's saving me a lot of time. And unfortunately, time is money. JetBrains has many features. One of my favorite is the local history. The easy way I can customize my settings, the run configuration, and I'm pretty sure I'm just scratching the surface. Of course, VS Code for Microsoft, getting closer. But for me, still not close enough. Said that, let me show you a few settings and modifications I use. If you want to open your project via the context menu, you have to add this functionality via the toolbox. There's a configuration where you can add a script, but it never worked for me. So I put the shell script together. So here's the toolbox from JetBrains, and when you go here on WebStorm, and then settings, and then open the configuration, here you can enable the scripts. And then check this box and go over the configuration. As this never worked for me, I'm using my script now for a few years, and maybe JetBrains configuration script is working now, but as I have already a script what is working fine, I will use my own. So let's close this one. I created a file and named it JetBrains add context menu.cmd. Let me show you. Here's my Explorer and here's the file, and let me open this one. And as this is a shell script for Windows, I open it with VS Code. I'm not typing it here, just showing you my script, and then I explain what it does. I will put the link of the script at the description of this video. So here's my script, and I'm using it for PHP Storm, WebStorm, PyCharm, and Android Studio. They are basically all the same, except here in Android Studio, I update as well here the Java Home directory for the Java runtime environments every time I get an update from Android Studio. So let's open the environment variable, and you can do this when you hit the Windows logo key and then type env in the search, and then you open environment variables for your account. So let me open this further, and here you can see the Java Home, and as well like PHP Storm, PyCharm, and WebStorm. And I'm using it here in path, where I just add these variables here. And this makes my life easier for updating all the stuff, because I only have to update the variables I added here. So let me close this one. So let's go to the script of an example from WebStorm. So here I can out the WebStorm, so that I'm now working for WebStorm, that I can clearly see this in the console output. And this next line, I iterate through the directory of WebStorm. What is this one? Let me show you this in the Explorer. Copying this line and then pasting it here. So as you can see, I have here 4 directories, and unfortunately the last one has .plugins added, and this I remove in the next line here. So the last 8 characters, and now I put together the WebStorm path. What I do here, I go basically to the binary and then use already WebStorm, and then I have to add only a few characters here. So let me show you this one. Here I go to the directory, the binary, and then I need this execute, the file, the application, and then here the icon. In this line, I put together the WebStorm env, what I showed you before. And here I just print out the directory, so I can see if it's the right directory name. And in this line, I starting adding everything to the registry from Windows until here. And this is then the path of WebStorm, and then I just add 64.exe. So this part here is that I don't get any output to the console, because I handling my own error message, what I do here. So I'm asking for an error level, and if it's not equal to 0, then I say exit is denied, what I echoing here. Or if it is not, then it should be fine. Then I say hi DPI scaling add successfully. Now I add the stuff to the context menu, open with add to context menu, and here we have the icon, the title, and the app. And here I get different registry keys where I do different stuff. Here I add a .ico for the icon and then my own arrow level and then the title, open with WebStorm, and so on here the app, and as you can see again with 64.exe. And again, this one is just to don't get the message out to the console, as I have my own error messages. So, and the last part here is for the environment variables. So I set then the WebStorm environment variables and add this entry true, and here again, no output to the console, and then here my own message and then the error level. So let's open the registry editor. You can do this, hit the Windows logo key and start typing REG, and then it should already appear. If not, then you just keep typing and then open this one. So I get a warning from the user account control, and I recommend never turning this off. So, and if you never started your registry, it should be look like that. And you can looking for the key here, or we go back to VS Code and just copying in here from the icon the key. And then back to the registry and pasting it here. And this would be everything I'm using here with the context menu. As you can see, PyCharm, PHP Storm, Android, and so on. And then I have here my icon, and here's the command to open the app. Okay, let's close this one. So let's go back to the Explorer where I have my script, and here I created a shortcut. You can do this by right-clicking and then create shortcut. And now here at the shortcuts, you go to the properties and then you can change an icon. You can choose here, or you just browse your system and you can create every ICO icon. So let's just choose this one. And then now let's start the script. So this press any key to continue. I do, because here I added the command pause. And here you can see that I'm adding this line here. I'm at PHP Storm now, and then this is my directory name, and the high DPI scaling was successfully, but I got access denied for the icon, the title, and the app, and the environment variable works again. So the point here is I have to run my script as an administrator. So let's close this one, and I can do this by right-clicking and then properties, and here advanced, and then check the box run as an administrator. And now I run it again. And then I will get again my message for the user account control. And here's my script. Now the first one was already successfully, and the other one of course as well too. So what I did then here, you can see I just removed the word shortcut, and then I have here created an own icon, and then I added to my start menu or just at the desktop for easy access. So I open already the location of the Webpack 5 tutorial, and here I can go easily now with right click and then open with WebStorm. Now let's talk about the settings. I recommend getting familiar with the shortcut Ctrl Alt and S. The first thing is the appearance and behavior, and here in the system settings I uncheck the reopen project on startup, as I am working usually on smaller project and I want to choose the project I want to open when I launch WebStorm. So the next thing is the key mapping, and here I add a few. So first we're looking for a key mapping what called select single line add caret, and here it is. And this one has no shortcut. So I add this one here by clicking right and then add the shortcut, and then I just type Shift, Control and L, and then you would be adding the shortcut. Let me remove this one. Then right click, Control L, and then you say OK. But this shortcut is already taken for find previous, move to previous occurrence. And this one has two shortcuts, so I removed it. So when it's asking you, just say removing the shortcut. So the next one is clone queries above and below. And so let me remove that again. And then I add it again. And this one I choose Shift Control Alt and up arrow. And here it says that's already taken from this one. And then when I hit OK, I say not remove, I leave it because it's, I can show you. I go here on OK. It's like when I'm, so let me hit the run configuration. So I can use this shortcut to resize my screen. And this is working anyway. So I can move it. And when I'm in the editor, here I can now add a caret there everywhere I need one. So let's close this one, stop this one, and go back to the settings. So the next one is in the editor. Here under General, the software, these files, and I add JS, CSS, HTML, EJS, and JSON. So let me turn this off, then you can see why I'm using this. And if I go here in the minified version, now you see everything is in one line. And when I'm turning it on again, I get the soft web here. So the next thing I want to show you is go back to the settings. This is here the show virtual space at the bottom of the file. So let me uncheck that. And now we go to file like here. I cannot scroll it at all. And when I'm checking it again, now I'm able to scroll a little bit more. So if I have more content, I can, like for here, I can see that even I'm on the bottom of the file, my content would be more or less in the middle of the editor. So back to the settings. Now we open this one here and go to the smart keys. And here I use camel humps words and as well surround selection on typing quotes or brace. So let me turn this off. And for example, I want to add here quotes. So I removed basically my word, what I selected. So let me undo that. And when I turn that on again, now quotes, now I surround it with quotes. And this works with double quotes and all the braces and brackets. So back to the settings. Let me close this one. Now the font. I like to use this font here. And these are the sizes and line height, what is good for my screen. And as well, I enabled ligatures. And if you have a look down here and uncheck this one, so now you can see how it looks like. This is actually maybe what you're used to, but for me, I like the ligatures. If this is not working for you properly, you go to color scheme and then here the color scheme font, and you have to uncheck use color scheme font instead of the default. So now the code style. I don't know when was it changed, but before we coding all the time in 4 tabs, so that you have here, and this is actually standard for all the IDEs. So as you can see now, you have way more spaces here, but this changed and is as well recommended from the Web Consortium. So I changed this here to 2. And I changed this for HTML and the styles, what should be somewhere around. Here it is. And then I changed this as well for the styles. So when I'm working with CSS, I always use a preprocessor like less sus. And of course I use emit. So let me close this one and the code styles. And here we have emit. And then on CSS, I remove auto insert CSS vendor prefixes as I will have them auto generated. So then let's talk about some plugins. Here I installed the Add to Material icons. So this gives me some nice icons I have here on the left side. And then the browser. So I can open here browser. As well the string manipulation I showed you already in my Webpack 5 tutorial. And for the theme I use Visual Studio Code Dark Theme. As I'm always using some plugin for auto reload my browser, I never use the web browser in preview. So I unchecked open for HTML file and XML files. So if you have this and going to an HTML file, you get here like the browser you can open and even a preview from a browser from JetBrains. So uncheck that. So going back to the editor, and here we should have somewhere live templates. Here it is. Here we open JavaScript, and here I add a few. I think I add this one, and the way it works actually. So I recommend you have a look around to the other one, how they're doing it, but you choose an abbreviation like EMP, and then I give you a little description. And what I want to add is then import and add my cursor here in the middle of the quotes. And this you're using with the end variable. In this description of this video, you will find a link where you can get more information about this one. And very important is that you change this one where you want to apply the live template view. And here I check all the JavaScript and TypeScript. And this one this was already there then for the console log, and as well here IEQ, what you could see in my Webpack 5 tutorial, what I using quite a lot. So that's all for the settings for now. So let's close this one. So in my Webpack 5 tutorial, I used a lot this run configuration here, and I can just play it from here. And then all the time the window open and give me some information. What is fine for when you're setting everything up. But when I know this working well, then I don't want to see it. So what I can do when I go here and then edit the run configuration, select what I want to do, and then I uncheck active tool window, closing this, and now I run it again. As you can see, the tool window not open. So I still have this one. So should be here in tools. So next thing is back to the settings. And here, by the way, if you can't find what you're looking for, you just can start typing here, and I'm looking for startup task, and here I get it. And I want to add every time I launch WebStorm, I want to run this dev configuration. So I go here on the plus and then add the configuration, then I choose npm. And I don't know why it's adding here me a run configuration, but I remove this one, choose my dev and say okay, okay here. And now every time I launch WebStorm with this project, I got the dev configuration run from the startup. So the next thing is the local history. If I go in here on the just created files, makes no sense. But here, for example, on the index.html, I can open the local history. And here I just add the lorem ipsum text. And this works as well for the whole directories. When you change some stuff, for example, you change the name, and then you can see everything in the local history. Let's talk about shortcuts. Here are a few hundred. Please learn them. Just kidding. To improve your speed, shortcuts are very important. Every time when I use an action a few times, I try to find a shortcut. I learn the shortcut by using it, and when I find myself using the mouse again, I undo the last action and use the shortcut. This helped me to learn a lot of shortcuts. And sometimes I forgot even the action, but I still remember the shortcut. Over the years, I used regularly a couple of shortcuts. I tried to organize them. Let's talk first about the Windows shortcuts. So let's say you want to copy some text here, and then you're going with the mouse, right click, and then you say cut, and then oh, there's a shortcut for that. And I got even a hint of the shortcut. So let's Control Z to undo that. And here is the shortcut. Okay, sometimes it's easy to use the mouse to randomize, copy and paste some stuff. But as well then left hand, if you right-handed, then is on the keyboard, and right hand using your mouse. And then you can do the same action and then, for example, pasting it here. So that's the shortcuts like selecting, Control X for cutting, Control V for pasting it again, or Control C for copying it, and then Control V for pasting it again. So Control Z is undo the last step. So, and I can do actually quite a few steps here. And for some application, the Control Y, we do the last action, but not here in WebStorm. Next thing is navigating around. So when you holding the Control key and using the arrow keys, as you can see, I now jumping whole words. And if I'm holding the Shift key, then I can select those words. Unselect, select, and then I can do the same action like Control, copy, pasting with V, and so on. The next thing is the home and the end key. As you can see, I can move from the beginning of the line and to the end of the line. And then with Control, I'm moving all the way to the top and all the way to the end of the file. And if I just want to selecting this one here, then I hold Shift and End. And when I'm on the end, then Shift and Home. And then I can do all my copy and paste stuff. So this is basically working almost in every application except then the application changed it, but this coming from Windows. So now let's talk about some JetBrains shortcuts. Here on the left side, where is all my files, I have my project window, and with Alt 1, I can selecting it and closing it and open it again. So for example, I'm here in the editor and then Alt 1. Now I'm here in the editor. And with Alt 4, I can open my one window, and then 7, the structure. So here I can easily move around my code, and this is special useful for JavaScript files. And then with Alt 9, I have my Git, and then as well hitting it again, closing it as well. So with Alt 7, I close the structure. So the first Alt 7 activating it, and the next one closing it. And every window when it's activating, for example, I go here Alt 1 in the project window and then Shift Escape, I can close the window. So that's what I'm using when I open my one configuration window and then everything is fine. Or for example, Alt F12, open the terminal, and then for example, I installed something with npm and then Shift Escaping, I closing it when I see everything working correctly. So now the run dialog. So with Shift F10, we can rerun the run dialog. We don't see it because we closing the one window. So let me open it. And then with Shift F10, we just can rerun it. So if I want to run a different configuration, for example, my playground, then Shift Alt F10. Now I can choose whatever I want to run. And now I can run just the playground. With Control F2, I can stop my scripts. So every script is just running in the background. And if I'm here in the script and let's say first Shift Alt F10, I just run the dev. Now you can see I switched to the dev configuration. And now I am in the playground. And here with Shift, Control and F10, I just run the playground. And this is as well useful when I'm here in the package.json and I'm selecting here the script I want to run. So I go to the script and I'm now in the script, and then Shift Control F10, I can run this script. So now let's navigate. With Alt Home, I'm jumping to the navigation bar, and as I'm in the root, I get all the information of the root here. So, and if I go here to the SCSS file and Alt Home, and now I'm here in the directory already, and with the arrow keys I can jump there, and with Alt Insert I can start adding my files. And then here with S for styles I can just typing enter and creating my new SCSS file. So here on the top I'm still in the navigation bar, so I can selecting around here and going down and navigate through all my files and directories. With escape, I go out here, and now I'm in the editor. And here with Alt, the arrow keys, left and right, I can jump around, and this is circling. As you can see, when I'm on the first one, left again, then I go to the last one. So this makes navigating around quite easy. So if I'm looking for a file, one I can use with double shift. I open a dialog. As you can see, it's already on all. So that's meaning searching everywhere. And here again, with the Alt and arrow key, I can jump around like looking for classes, file, symbols. And that here file using app. And if I go for Alt, then I get way more information. So that's why I remember the shortcut Shift, Control and N. And I'm immediately in files. Closing this with escape. Next one is Control E. And this is my last file I open here in this project. And I can just using the arrow keys or typing, and then I have 2 of them, and then I can choose it easier. So going out with escape. So let's jump to the app.css, and here I want to open my main.scss. Then with control click, I can jump immediately in there, or as well in my Hello World script. And this works as well when you having styles already in your script, in your HTML file, for example, then you can jump there immediately. So next thing, for example, I want to add here something. Just like a test configuration, and then I figured out, okay, I haven't required it. So with Control Home, I jumping here, and then requiring something. Having done that, and then with Shift Control Backspace, I go to my last editing position, and then I just can start editing here. So let's remove this one. To easily jumping around here, I'm using the Alt and then the arrow up keys, and then every time I go to a method, I'm jumping up and down here. So when you get used to it, this makes navigation quite faster. So now some editor actions. For example, you want to uncomment this line, you hitting Control/, and you can do this as well, like you going there again and Control/ is uncommented again. And then with Shift Control, you add a multi-line comment, or here in an HTML file. For example, you want to add here a comment, and when I hit Control/, I add a comment like that. And when I do Shift Control/, then I add the comments in the same spacing. Remove this one. So, and with the End key and Home, I can jump around here. And then as well with Shift Home, I selecting everything in the same way before. For example, I want to cut this line here with Control X. And then I go here to the end and pasting it here. If I want to delete this line, then I do Control Y. So now it's gone. So next thing is, so here for, if I want to select this whole string, then I can use Control W. And with Shift Control W, I can shrink my selection. With Control Alt and L, I can reform my code, and then the shortcut I add before is the Shift Control and L. I can select the whole line, or with Shift Control Alt, I can add the caret everywhere. Or if I have to add some carets randomly in my code, then I can use my Alt key, like here, then there, then there, and then there, and then I just can start typing or whatever I want to do. And with escape, I go to my first start of the selection. So was as well coming in handy if I selected this one and I want to duplicate it, is Control D, and then I have duplicated it, go to the left and then add a space or whatever. Going back to a JavaScript file, and for example, I want this variable, and with Alt J, I can select it, and then every time I hit now Alt J, I select every occurrence of the next one is in the line, or with escape I go out there, and then with Shift Control Alt and J, I can select them all at once and then just can change my variable. But here you have to be careful because it's going only for the same spelling. So if you have, for example, if I'm selecting here only the def and selecting this, then I get everything selected where is the DV. So, and the last thing is like working with Git. With Control K, you can open the Git dialog. And then when I hit Alt key, then you can see everything like what is underlined. Then the I can commit to this one, escaping it or canceling it out here. Then if I want to open and push it, then I would hit Shift Control and K. So now I can push it immediately to GitHub, for example, and then with Alt and 9, I can open my Git dialog and closing it as well. So again, in the description of the video, you will find a link with all the shortcuts I'm using. So that's all for me. I hope it was useful for you, and I see you in the next one. Bye.